Okay, so some people have asked like why I'm doing this, what it is that it actually is wrong with me, for example. So I thought I'd touch up on that, I suppose. So for a long time now, 15 years to be exact, I've been taking medication for anxiety and depression, mainly anxiety. That stemmed from my previous relationships, mainly Becky, who's the mother of my child, Layla. Caused a lot of problems for me. But look at this, a shell beach. You don't see that every day. Basically, obviously she got pregnant, had the child, but that was a nightmare. Wouldn't let me get involved. Did that on purpose. And that was the start of it, I would say. I partied a lot, enjoyed myself, drugs, weed, pills, just anything to have a good time really. And I think when Layla came, it was like an awakening, sort of like you've got to sort yourself out, you've got to stop partying, stop taking drugs and enjoying yourself and sort of like buckle down really. That was hard. So coming off the drugs was really easy, but the aftermath was really, really hard. And I think the hardest part was I wasn't addicted, I always did it for fun. But when your mind sort of realises that you ain't going to be doing those things anymore to have that release, and you can't escape from the world, your mind starts caving in on itself. A lot of people, they drink or they smoke, and that helps them. But for me, like now, if I took drugs, I think I'd end up in A&E with a heart attack, because my mind would just go into overload. So for me, my mind's always spinning and spinning and spinning. It never switches off. I never find that calm, which is why I end up panicking. And then obviously, when the panic attack happens, I remember chatting to a lady when I used to work for a company called Connections, and she explained it to me like a shadow. You never really notice the shadow until you see it, and then when you see it, you're aware it's there, and that's anxiety. So you have the panic attack, and then once you finish the panic attack, you are constantly waiting for it to come back, so you're looking at that shadow all the time, sort of thing. And it never goes away, it always stays there. And sometimes I had a panic attack for days, hours. It was horrendous. So it's really tough. I'm gonna have to do little bits of videos, because I think too much it won't let me upload it, so I'll go on to the next video. Hang on. So yeah, so that was really what started it, was the whole Becky situation. I moved into a place called Sam Farm, which Keith helped me sort out, and I met a lady called Christine, lovely lady. Sadly, she's now passed on. We used to call her the Bint. She'd call herself the Baroness. Yeah, it was hard. I was paying for a house, a child that I wasn't able to see because the mother was being who she is. I had to tell my parents about that situation. That was not easy. She'd gone round there behind my back and told them she was pregnant. I remember my dad coming around the house I was living in at the time, really upset, and for the first time I sort of stood up and said, hang on a minute, you have no idea what you're talking about. And he sort of like stopped, paused and listened. And then afterwards his whole persona changed. And that was good for me, because I know he struggled most of his life, working to try and keep a roof over our heads, 3 kids. It's not been easy. It's not been easy for my mum either. And then for 3 years it was really hard. Like, I wasn't allowed to see her. She moved someone in when she was pregnant, Jerry Wood. And for me it was like, wow, why would that happen? Like, she's pregnant, for God's sake, 6 months pregnant. So I had a paternity test, DNA test. Layla was mine. I mean, look at her now, you can't deny that she's mine. She looks just like me. Bless her. So yeah, it was an ongoing battle. And then 3 years in, I got a phone call when I was at work from Becky's mum saying that the
police have been, not the police, the landlord's been round to the house. Becky'd left Layla on her own basically, so I needed to go home and do something about it, so I did. I left work, and then when I found Layla, she had excrement everywhere, nappy hadn't been changed for at least a day, it was a sorry state, the house was a mess. It broke my heart. Appointments were missed with the doctors, etc. That was stressful. Yeah, it was really, really tough. Hang on, another video. So, yeah, I took Layla, and I had Layla for 6 months then, constantly, and it was fantastic. But me being an idiot said to Becky's mum that, you know, if you want to have Layla and see Layla, that's fine, but don't let her out your sight. And then obviously, eventually, about 4 months in, Becky was back on the scene. And I said, yeah, well, it's her mum at the end of the day, it's fine, let her see her, but don't let her out your sight. 6 months into it, I got a phone call at 6 o'clock at night from Val saying that, crying, that Becky's taken Layla and she's gone, she doesn't know where she is. Yeah, panic. I phoned the police, they didn't do anything, they said it's a civil matter, not our problem. I phoned social services, they said there's nothing we can do, she's the biological mother, doesn't matter that you've had her for 6 months solid. No one would tell me where Layla was or what was going on. I called the police again, they said they would go find Becky and let me know that everything's okay, they did do that. At this point, obviously, the police can only do so much, I understand that, it's just the way it is. Social services were rubbish. I filed for full custody, went to the courts, Becky turned up, the judge tore her a new asshole, fantastic. I had a solicitor's agreement that Becky signed that basically said that I was allowed to have Layla every other weekend and every Wednesday, and obviously she broke that agreement, so the court sort of like said to Becky, why did you break it? She couldn't answer it, so the lady said that's not good enough. Anyway, went through a load of things, I felt quite positive, Becky was in tears, and then when we left there was no bitching, so she was like putting a finger up to me and outside like she wasn't laughing when she left. Another video. So yeah, that actually went on for 7 months, kept getting adjourned because Becky didn't turn up, and I remember like one of the last court sessions I had, there was 2 blokes and a woman. The 2 blokes were useless, the woman was brilliant, and she got upset and said, look, we can't get hold of Becky, this is ridiculous, it's costing you money, it's costing us money, we need to resolve this, you need to get hold of her, you need to do this. And I just said, listen, I said, when you asked me to do mediation, I said no, because there's no point, you can't communicate with that woman, you can't talk to her, she's a waste of space. The frustrations you're feeling are nothing compared to what I'm going through, and that's why I'm here, for you to sort this out. And now you're saying I have to. I said, that's not how this works. Anyway, cut a long story short, they eventually got hold of her, and they wouldn't give me full custody. And in their words, it was because I'm a man. It's unusual for a male to have full custody. They offered me half. I took it, better than nothing. And they said if things don't improve, come back and we'll readdress it. So for a while it was okay, like Becky changed her tune, bucked her ideas up, it was a lot better. Yeah, it was still tough, but I think within 6 months, and that's crucial at this point because it seems to be every 6 months Becky changes or goes back to her normal self. The problem started happening. I'd threatened the court order, she would listen to start with, then eventually she just sort of like didn't do anything about it. Work was getting upset because obviously I was having to skip work. I had a 3-year-old child, I couldn't go to work and leave the 3-year-old child at home, what can I do? And Becky wouldn't turn up. Eventually she'd turn up, she'd been out drinking all night. So yeah, that was tough. Hang on, another video. So yeah, I started getting in trouble at work, timekeeping mainly, and then about a year in I had a breakdown, couldn't cope, couldn't leave the house for a month. That was tough. Brandon, my boss at the time, was brilliant. We went to Reading Drove all the way there, and as soon as we got to Portishead I started panicking, and I could feel it coming. It's like a overwhelming sensation of feelings, emotions and negativity in the mind, and you just want to go home. Got all the way there and I said, I can't do it, I'm done. Like, I've been fighting it for the last 3 hours, I'm done. Like, just take me home. So he was going to take me to a train station. Right, I couldn't think of anything worse. So the poor bugger had to drop me back at home. That was hard. And he said I was clinging onto the seat, and he thought I was going to rip the fucker out the car. I was that like stiff and rigid. Basically, as soon as we got to Bristol, he said you could see the tension was gone, and I said yeah, because I know I'm going home, and now I know I'm going home, I'm okay. Like, feels good. Got signed off for about 6 months. One of the contributing factors to why I was the way I was that I kept falling over. Lost my balance all the time, passing out, but not actually passing out, if that makes sense. Physically falling to the floor, but not actually like going unconscious. Went to A&E in Bridgewater, where I worked at the time. Couldn't find anything wrong with me. I went on for a while. Went to the doctors. They basically said, well, what do you want us to do? And I was like, you're the fucking doctor, you tell me. Like, you know, I'm an IT technician. Like, for me, like, I find a problem, I look for a logical solution, I try the different options. If they don't work, I look onto something else, and then I go from there. So I said, what can you offer me? So she said, we'll do a full MOT, a blood test, check everything. That come back okay. I went back in, they would try offering me pills. I was like, no, I don't want to do that, I'm not depressed, which I wasn't at that time. I then collapsed again. Went to work the next day on a motorbike, probably not the best idea. And when you're on a motorbike and you're going down the motorway, 80, 90 mile an hour, whatever, when the wind kicks in quite strong, you kind of lean off the bike the opposite way to balance yourself. And then when the wind stops, you'd expect the bike to fly one way because you're leaning, which it would if you didn't correct it, so you correct it. But what I was finding was I was doing that without the wind. And then I got to Bridgewater and I felt really dizzy, and I stopped. Got off the bike and I was like, what is wrong with me? I can't stand up, I can't walk, I'm all over the place, I'm dizzy. Went to work. I changed my diet at this point, so I thought maybe it's something I'm eating, something I'm doing. I was drinking regular, cut the caffeine, wasn't doing the cocaine every day like I was. Felt weird. Went back to the doctors, basically pleaded with him for a CT scan and an MRI scan, convinced I had a brain tumour. So what was happening was I'd get pressure here, like quite a lot of pressure. It kind of felt like I was stoned. That was the best way I could medically explain how I was physically feeling. It felt like I dropped about 3 or 4 ecstasy tablets because my body was pumping adrenaline, and I felt like I was like trying to come up, but in a negative way. I felt absolutely awful. And I just felt lost. So he was basically saying, I don't think you've got a brain tumour or there's anything wrong with your brain, so I think it's a waste of NHS money. And I said, listen, I pay my national insurance, I pay for the healthcare, I want it. I don't care if you think there's nothing wrong with me, I want it. And his answer to that was, what happens if you have the test, it come back negative and you're okay? And I said, well, then we're supposed to move on to the next thing, don't we? And he said, yeah, but it's a waste of money, and I think that you're just going to keep looking for answers you're not going to get. I get that. Had the CT scan, had the MRI scan, it all come back clear, nothing wrong with me, brilliant. And that made me easy for a few days. I still felt anxious, I didn't understand what anxiety was, so that shadow was there, which I wasn't aware of. And then after about a month, so this has been going on for about 6 months now, I just started breaking down, crying, and just couldn't work myself out. Jumped the timeline a bit actually, because I was still with Becky at this point. But yeah, it doesn't matter. So I went to the doctors again, and he said, have you seen an ears, nose and throat? No, it was my mum. My mum actually said, do you reckon it might be your ears? And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, when you were younger, you had problems with your ears, you had grommets put in, you kept hearing noises in your head, you kept banging your head against the wall like a lunatic. Yeah, I went to the doctors and said, can I get my ears checked? So I went to what they call an ears, nose and throat specialist in Bristol. And he came in, he was a surgeon, quite a cocky guy, quite blunt, straight to the point, which is, to be fair, what I needed. And he had a triangle, like a musical triangle that he twanged, and he said, can you hear that? I said, well, obviously I'm not deaf. And then he went behind me and he says, what about now? I said, well, obviously if you're banging it I can hear it. And Becky looked at me, he come round to the side and banged it again, so I thought, and he says, I haven't actually hit it. I was like, what? And he goes, I only twanged it once and that was when you come in. I was like, no. Becky was like, he did. So he said, do you have tinnitus? I was like, what's that? And he said, it's like a noise in your ear, like a horrible buzzing, whining, monotone pitch. I said, yes. And he said, I think I know what's wrong with you. Your eustachian tubes, which go from here to here on both sides, are blocked, probably from the cocaine abuse. Plus I had issues anyway with my sinuses. And he said, what's happening is the sound's entering your head, it's not leaving. The fluid level in your ears is disrupted, they're blocked. So when you're moving, your balance is gone, which is why you're fainting, which is why you're all over the shop. So I was like, okay, what's my options? And he said, well, you got two options. One of them is surgery. They drill a hole through to here, put metal steel, stainless steel tube in, and that will permanently expand the eustachian tubes in my head. The other option was like a nasal spray, which I used for about a month, and it worked. Stopped all the problems. But 6 months of this caused me to have severe panic and anxiety induced issues that I couldn't shake off. I didn't leave the house for a month again because I just didn't want to get out of bed, so I just felt awful. That was really, really hard, probably the worst I've ever been. Went to the doctors and I just cried and said, just give me the tablets, I've had enough, like, I can't cope with this anymore, I don't want to be here, I want to die, basically. I said, I don't want to die, which is why I'm panicking. I said, I don't want to harm myself, I'm not going to harm myself, you've got no fear of me killing myself, I don't want to die. I said, that's one of my anxieties is death, I don't want to die. So they gave me the pills, signed off work for 6 months. They took about 8 weeks to kick in. They weren't very good, and all of a sudden it just started feeling numb, like a zombie. I went to 50 mil. Oh, it was awful, absolutely awful. So to kind of explain how that feels, you still feel a bit anxious, but the chemicals in your body that are trying to pump around like you're taking ecstasy, that's subsided. Your heart doesn't bang around as much as it did, but your thought processes are still there. You're still like, in your mind, you're still like flying around at 1,000 miles an hour, latching onto these negative thought processes. So the panics were still there, but I wasn't getting the physical symptoms, if that makes sense. I was just mentally panicking. In time that got easier. Went back to work. It was okay. But the biggest trauma for me at this point was going to Taunton, because we moved to Taunton at that point. That was hard, going on the motorway journey in my Saxo, that was my sister's car. Got to work, tried to do a full day, I did, but lunchtime I got in the car, went to sleep, woke up an hour later because I was just exhausted all the time, mentally exhausted. And the way that the guy in the surgeon explained it, he said, when your ears are off balance, your ears aren't functioning correctly. He says your brain still needs to work out if you're level. This is why people get motion sickness. So what happens then is your eyes take over your balance from your ears, and that cognitive process actually takes a lot of energy because it's having to work harder than it normally does. You've got 3 senses basically that work out if you're standing upright and you're moving. That's your eyes, your ears, like the sounds and stuff like that, and also the liquid in your ears, like the balancing side of things. And if any one of those three are sort of like playing up, that's when people end up feeling sick. And normally it's in a car where your ears are saying, well, I'm not moving, I'm stationary. And your brain is looking at what you're doing, and it's like, well, I'm going about 80 miles an hour in a bloody car, like what's going on? And that's why you feel motion sickness. Your brain's like, mine was the opposite. It wasn't motion, it was sound, and it was the fluid level in my ears. It caused me to be that way. And I remember coming out of Taunton, going back to Western, bloody nightmare if you've ever done it, especially at 5 o'clock. It's just absolute chaos. And I was stuck on the motorway for about 2 hours. I had my laptop out on the passenger seat. I was playing cards on it, which I know you shouldn't do, but was stuck still in traffic in the outer lane. And I was trying to take my mind off it, and the first bloody thought that came into my head was, oh, I can feel it now, I can feel the anxiety kicking in. Wouldn't it be horrible if I had a panic attack right now? And it happened, and I was losing my fucking mind. Sorry, I shouldn't swear. I was losing my mind. That's another thing I'm trying to cut down on, is swearing so much inappropriately. God, I'm terrible for it. I got out of the car, just got out, went to the hard shoulder, started walking home. Sod the car, I'm done. 10 minutes gone by, moment of mental clarity. You've left your car in the fast lane on the motorway. Like, you need to go get it. Went and got the car. That was embarrassing. Drove towards Burnham-on-Sea, Brent Knoll Junction. Traffic stopped again. Started panicking. This time I just lost the plot. Got onto the old shoulder and drove for about 2 miles and thought, I don't care. If they pull me over, I don't care. If they arrest me, I don't care. I'm getting off this bloody motorway right now. Got off the motorway and I just felt calm. So the trigger point was being trapped in a car on the motorway and not having a way out, which is a common thing that happens with people with anxiety. And this battle was happening for ages. It just kept going backwards and forwards, never ending, stuck in this endless cycle, stuck in this endless loop, and I just lost it. And then more time off work. That was hard. Didn't like not working. Yeah, it was really, really hard. People didn't really understand. My father doesn't really understand. It's like, man up, get on with it sort of attitude. My mother understands. She's gone through it. A lot of our relatives on her side have had it and understand it. My friends don't really fully understand it. Partners haven't really fully understood it. So I was in a dark place. Keith understood it. Christine understood it down the farm. And when I got made redundant, I took the redundancy package. I was just like, I can't work anymore, I'm done. I basically didn't do anything. And in that time, that's when I had Layla for 6 months. So I'd left Becky at this point. And that was good for me, it felt good. I had something to focus on, something positive. And then when that got taken away from me, I went back into my hole. I ended up even more anxious, panicking even more. Didn't know what was going on, didn't know if she was okay. Yeah, it was awful. But I was getting into my cars then, so that's how I started getting into my cars. The CRX, the Del Sol that I'd done with the Lambo doors, all the interior, rebuilt the engine myself. Si was brilliant. Simon's like one of my best friends ever. He taught me a lot about mechanics, got me started. My mindset was good, something I could physically get my teeth into. But I was exerting myself too much, working too much, which I have been doing up to now. Pushing and pushing and pushing. And the thing is, when you get tired, the anxiety, you can't fight it. It's horrible. It's a battle you're not going to win. If you're knackered, you've had it. And that was happening a lot, and I couldn't work that out. Felt like I couldn't breathe. Yeah, so it was just an endless cycle really of that. That then brings me on to my next missus. So this was 2 years in, Tracy. Everyone called her Psycho. Should have known. For me, I was lonely. I was in a horrible place. I didn't love myself. She did love me, I think, in her own way. Things got tough. She was good with Layla to start with, but then that started getting a bit here and there. I didn't help the relationship in the sense that I didn't spend time with her enough, but she was doing my head in. I remember one argument, I was down the farm, she said to be back for 9, I was like, yep, no problem. So I got in the Saxo, got ready, got to Porter's Head and the bloody thing ran out of fuel. Pulled over on the hard shoulder, got the jerry can out, and I was absolutely fuming. I was like, she's gonna go mental because I'm late. So I slammed the boot. The rear window shattered. I just, oh my god, I couldn't believe it. It got worse. So I was like, right, I'm in between Clevedon and Porter's Head on the bypass top bit on the hard shoulder, and I was like, I need to get to her house, like above anything, so I don't have a domestic. I climbed into a field, and it'd been raining. My shoes got stuck in the field. I couldn't get out, so I ended up having to take my shoes off to pull my shoes out. Walked across the field in my bare feet, absolutely minging. Walked probably about 7 miles to get to her house, and you could see I was absolutely covered in crap, pissing down the rain. She went mental as soon as she opened the door. Oh, you've always got an excuse, like you can never, blah blah blah. It just went on, it just didn't stop. Told her what had happened, took me to the car, and it was just full on arguing the whole time, so by now I'm panicking. Look at that, awesome. Excuse me. So yeah, got to the car, filled it up with fuel, went and got fuel first obviously. Got back to her house and it was just relentless. It just didn't stop. Got into bed with her, went to sleep. She woke me up after about 3 hours of trying to sleep. I just started on again. It started going on and on and on and on and on and on, and it just made me snap. I was just like, I can't fucking deal with this. Sorry, swearing. Got out, went to go into the loft on a chair to get a sleeping bag. Couldn't drive in that state. She kicked the chair out from under me and nearly broke my bloody neck. By this point she was pregnant as well, with my son Theo. That's a whole nother bloody mental story. I remember she was hitting me, laying into me, spitting at me, so I just grabbed her by the throat, pushed her up against the wall, which I'm not proud of. And I just said, I looked at her in the eyes and said, you fucking hit me one more time and I will knock your head through that wall and I will not fucking stop. Let her go, walked into the living room, pacing up and down, panicking. She kept pushing and pushing. By this time she grabbed my laptop, which was my work's laptop. Tried throwing it out the window. Basically I grabbed the laptop. She started scratching me, like biting me, spitting at me. Pushed her into the sofa and just said, that's it, we're done. I said, I can't cope with this, that's it, we're done. I'm not a violent person, I'm not an aggressive person. I give it the mouth, but I don't action it. Packed my stuff and left. Went back to the farm, explained the situation, they let me move in. That was hard. Panicking, I was in a real fucking horrible place there, swearing, sorry. Real horrible place again. Yeah. So, obviously at this time I'm still having all the problems with Layla and Becky. That was tough. Hard. Yeah, so we went to a scan in Bristol. I met her at Porter's Head. She said, are you getting in the car with me? I was like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I want to go in my own car. She didn't want it. She kept arguing. I was like, all right, don't want to stress you and the baby out. I'll get in the car. Didn't say a word. Got to the motorway and she starts, why are you ignoring me? I'm just like, oh, because your voice just annoys me. Like, there's nothing we're going to be able to say to each other that's going to resolve anything. It's going to just cause more arguing. Like, it's pointless. And it was just bickering and arguing and shouting and screaming. Not me, but her. Like, the whole way there. And it was just mental. We got to the place where you have the scan. And
it was like a Jacqueline Hyde. She just switched. Oh yeah, we're here for our baby scan, like, you know, we're very much in love and all the rest of it. I'm like, what? Went in there and like I was just absolutely like, my mind was just blown by this. I couldn't say anything, and I was doing this ultrasound scan and everything, and like the lady was trying to chat and I was just quiet, and like she was trying to engage, Tracy was, and I wasn't really having it. I was just like, I'm fuming, I'm absolutely fuming that you're behaving like this, like all fake and all nice, when you've just been battering me for like that 20-30 minutes. Lady walks out of the room and she starts, and I mean she starts. I've left the room at this point, I just can't cope. She comes out the scanner after the nurse come back, get in the car, and she just carries on. And at this point I'm driving, she told me to drive. Get onto the motorway, come into Porter's Head, and she's hitting me, she's punching me in the face, the arm, punching me. So I ripped the handbrake up, 70 odd mile an hour, skidded to a halt, shouted at her and just said, I will fucking leave you here. Sorry. So I got back in the car, drove back, and I just got out of the car as quick as I could and got back in mine and drove home. That was it for me. And then, drove back to the farm, did speak to her, she tried ringing me a couple of months later, tried to sort things out, and I said, I'm not interested, I'm done, that's it, for me, that's it, I'm cut off, I'm not even going to be there for the child, which is horrible. I said, I've got enough problems with Layla, I can't sort myself out, and you are just the same as Becky in my mind. You are just as mental, you are just as selfish, you are just as destructive, you're violent. I ain't having it. It's not good for me, it's not good for you, it's not good for the baby. I'm done. And that was that. Never seen them since. Didn't hear anything actually for about 6 years. I think Layla was 9 or 8. So Theo would have been 6, so yeah, 6 years. She tried getting in contact on WhatsApp actually. She said that Theo wants to know who his father is and all the rest of it, so they can't do it. I'm not strong enough, I'm still going through hell. I haven't been able to repair myself, I'm still not working, I'm not employed, I'm mentally gone. Like, I've been in this hole for so long now that I just can't climb out of it, and I can't add to that stress, I can't add to that pressure. It just got to the point where I was just drowning constantly. Yeah, she should have shown her true colours. She got in contact with Becky. Becky took a photo of Layla and Theo and Tracy all together enjoying life down the seafront. She was trying to twist the knife in, and basically sending me the photos to antagonise me, trying to get me to feel this pain. Yeah, I didn't react. Thought best not to. And then Tracy tried it on again, and I just sent her the photos and said, you know what? I said, I know you haven't changed. I know you're still the same person that you were, because look what you've done behind my back. And she goes, yeah, but Layla needs to know who her brother is. I said, no, she doesn't. Like, at the end of the day, she doesn't need to know that. It's all you're going to do is you're going to come into her life for 5 minutes, disappear again, and then confuse the child even more. I said, it's just mind games. You're just playing with me. You're playing with like a child's emotions in front of Layla and Becky, and you two are lapping it up. You're loving it. You're absolutely loving this. Like, you're both a pair of C words, and like, you know, you are despicable people. I chose badly, like, that's on me, because I wasn't in a good place. I got to with Becky because she had a kid. I thought she was more mature. She was 8 years older than me. She had her own place. So I thought she had her own place. I wanted to get away from my lifestyle, stop taking the drugs, stop partying. I wanted to settle down. I chose Becky, wrong person, wrong timing. And then with Becky, it turned out 6 months into the relationship, she had another son called Brandon, lovely boy. I went to Becky's mum's house, and I walked through. Darren was there, the father. He's a lovely bloke. He was in the army. and I seen this boy go up to Becky and give her a hug and say, "I love you, Mum." And I was like, "What?" And Valerie, Becky's mum, took me to the kitchen and she was like, "Did you not know?" And I was like, "Obviously not, like what?" But that was a massive shock. Like, she hid that from me. Like, how can you do that? Like, how can you hide that you had a child with someone and they don't live with you anymore? They never live with you. That blew my mind away, that really did. Yeah, so again, that just put me back. Sorry, I'm fluttering between the stories. It's just how my mind's sort of like going backwards and forwards and stuff. But yeah. So anyway, about 9 years into the anxiety and depression, I'm on the tablets still. Obviously, I'm having panic attacks daily. That can last days, hours. It's never stopped. Yeah, so Tracy, I basically said I didn't want nothing to do. Then she went to my parents. My parents said, "Look, we're respecting Matthew's decision. We don't want to get involved. That's it. Like, for us, if he's made that conscious decision, we need to support him in his decision. That's it." So they were brilliant in that respect. At this point, I was fluttering between houses. Didn't have a place of my own. I was made homeless because I fell out with Christine down the farm. It got a bit too much. Like, she was trying to mother me like one of her own, and bless her, it just got too much. It just got too much, couldn't cope, and I was getting to the point where I was coming to the farm and I just got to the gate and I was panicking. I didn't want to go home. I went into the static caravan. I went to go to sleep. She broke the door open, started shouting and screaming at me, "Why aren't you answering me?" And I was like, whoa, like, this is my personal space. Like, I'm having a panic attack. I've come in here. She's still having a go at me. She's left. And I'm just like, well, I can't deal with that. Like, I've come to this place to get away from the madness, and you're adding to the madness, which is why our relationship's breaking down, why we're ending up the way that we did. And it did. Sadly, it ended up like me and her falling out and never speaking again, which is really sad. I never got to repair that bridge. I never got to repair that because she unfortunately passed on, which is really, really sad. She was a lovely lady. She had her own issues, her own problems. Her husband died. They were married for 53 years. Met him when she was 13, bless her, had 2 kids. So for her, it was like her life was over, really, in her head. So she tried dating. We always say to her, "Don't give them a chance." But like she said to us, "I don't need to. They're not my husband. They're not going to replace him." And she said one story that always stuck in my mind. They sat down with a half a pint of Coke, and she'd get halfway through the drink and she'd walk out. And I was like, "What do you mean?" Because I just left in there mid-conversation. I was like, "What? That's rude." She goes, "No, it's not. I knew by the time I got halfway through my drink that it was never going to work. It's never going to be for me, so I left. Don't waste my time." And that attitude's fantastic, like, but it's not at the same time. It's a woman that knew her decision, knew her mind, and knew what she wanted from life, and it wasn't that. So she just did it. Whereas with me, I didn't do that. I always tried to cling on. I always tried to like iron it out, fix the problems, do this, do that. And sometimes you just got to let it go. And that's something I struggle with, which is why I suffer from anxiety and depression, and why I'm here. It's tough. So anyway, I found a place I was renting. That fell through because the guy who was renting it basically messed up. That caused more stress. I moved in with Anthony Oliver. That was good, but he moved out, he moved on, found a wife, his wife now to be. I don't think he's married yet, he's engaged. Had a kid with her, so it worked out well for him. I ended up losing the house. By this point, I'm not really chatting to my parents, not really talking. But my dad put me in the house I'm in now, which is brilliant. It was amazing. Really got me out of a hole and really felt that connection with him for the first time in like 40 odd years or whatever it was. Not 40 years, 35 years. So yeah, that was really positive, and he did it so that Layla has stability and a place to live, obviously, and I've been there now for about 8 years, I think. So that's a good constant. It makes me feel a bit more grounded. Obviously, I'm still having the panic attacks. I remember the government changed, moved on to universal credit. I wasn't working, so they said if you don't try and find employment or try to do something, we'll cut all your benefits. And for me, it was just like, Jesus Christ. Imagine being employed, like in the mindset I'm in. Like when I was employed, I kept skipping days, kept walking out because I was messed. And I've been trying to get counselling. I've gone to the NHS. I've tried everything. No one was helping me. Nothing was helping me. Nothing could help me. I couldn't help myself. So then I got into Rector's Way Garage with Simon, bless him, and he said if you pay half the rent, you can use half the workshop. And I started restoring cars, not getting paid. It was hard. I didn't have the money to pay the rent. So I did a couple of jobs here and there for people that I knew, really, friends, family, relatives, just to get the money for the rent. That was it. And that kind of progressed, moving on, like more mechanical stuff, more body work, getting right into it. I'm still on Universal Credits. I'm classed as self-employed, but on a go back to work scheme. So they went for a business management course. I do less than 16 hours a week. Just take my time, no pressure. And then I'm not earning loads of money. So it's just mainly to keep my head above the water, really. But it's kept me busy, it's kept me active. But what I find with that is I can't get up in the mornings, I struggle. So I normally rock up to work about 10, half 10, get taken the mick out of saying, oh, half a day boy again and all this, like, you know, but they don't really understand why it's only half a day. Yeah, you end up getting to a situation where you're booking work in, for example. It's hard work. Sometimes it's complicated, things go wrong, so you're 3 hours behind schedule. Customer wants their car back, you start panicking, and then you just end up in that mess again. So you end up going home. And then a couple of times I've gone home for an hour, come back because I'm panicking, and you just push through, as the F1 team say, push, and then going at my pace. So for me, being self-employed was better because I could just date my own pace, whereas if I was employed by an employer, I wouldn't be able to cope because I'd be trapped, and I'd get that motorway feeling when I'm stuck in the car and I have to get out. And then that mindset is really difficult to change. And once you're there, that's it, you've got to get out. And the employer's not going to put up with that. I wouldn't put up with that. You'd be pissed right off. So that's why it works for me, being able to do it at my own time, like go at my own pace. And yeah, sometimes I can work longer than others. And that's great. Or weekends, because I need to catch up on stuff, which is not good. And that's where I kind of am now, really. Like my relationship I've just come out of was primarily because I wasn't spending time with that person. My mindset wasn't right. I had no time for myself or her. My fault. Working all the time. When I come home from work, I'm just mentally drained, physically drained. Sleep for an hour. Play on the PlayStation till my mind's had enough, take my mind off of this. Whereas like in the meantime, I'm not seeing her, I'm not spending time, I'm not physical with her, I'm not mentally with her. It's not a relationship. And she was there, she was always trying to help me, support me, but I couldn't support myself, I couldn't fix myself, I couldn't heal. There was things in the relationship that I wasn't happy with, put that block in place. I'm not going to go into that. So yeah, I was just no time, just putting life off, just drifting by for the last 2 years. And then came the midlife crisis at 39. So 39, I started thinking about it. 40, it hit home. It was like, Christ, I'm 40 years old. That's half my life gone if I'm lucky. And then that started bringing me into a more depressed state because I just couldn't cope with that. And then my adopted father over the road, Brian, his son-in-law, bless him, passed away. Hi Donna, sorry for your loss, and I think you're doing amazing with the kids and yourself, being able to push past that and push through it, and know that Lee will always be a part of you and he'll always be there. I hope you don't mind me talking about it. I know it's probably going to bring up some raw emotions, it does for me. But yeah, basically he was a lorry driver, cleared all his medical checks. She'd gone on holiday, he was at home, he was loving life, hadn't been on his own for a long time, getting himself back into it. And then he passed away. in his sleep, heart attack. That's hard. I'm 41. It makes you really, really think and go into yourself. Brian's had about 13 heart attacks, bless him. Well, that's on my mind constantly, like how long has he got left, like, and I'm not seeing him as much as I should be. I'm not phoning him enough, I'm not being there enough. Like I am with my ex Kasia, I wasn't there enough. I was just being selfish because I couldn't get out of my head. So it was really hard to sort of like do what needed to be done, which was just spend time with these people, listen to them, talk to them, enjoy the moment, enjoy what's going on. That's what it's all about. Anyway, so I was given a 6-month deadline by Kasia. If things didn't improve, then she's going to leave me, and fair enough. Like, for her, she's got her own problems and she isn't happy. I didn't improve. I had my back up. The argument we had, basically I was trying to say like, there's things you need to change as well with me. She didn't see it that way. She was basically saying like, you know, no, it's all you, which at this point in time, yes, it is all me. But the reason why I'm here is partly because of what we've endured during the relationship and stuff that I can't work through or work out and can't gel with you with, which is why I'm putting the walls up. And that's why I couldn't get back to her, if that makes sense. So anyway, a month's now passed. She split up with me a month ago. I still very much love her. Always be a part of my life. I do miss her. I miss myself and how we were at the start. Yeah, so I started looking inwards for a month. I've been panicking every day. Wake up after about 3 hours sleep, panicking, pools of sweat, can't sit still, running around, walking, not working, like even temporary work I couldn't do properly, doing dribs and drabs, and then like after a few hours I just spaz out, leave work, couldn't cope, go for a walk, still couldn't cope. It's been hard, and I've been chatting to people, it's been really difficult. The Friday, like a week ago, no, 2 weeks ago, no, a week ago, we had a conversation, and in my heart I knew it was over and she's not interested. She needs to look after herself, and she can't see the changes that have been applying myself in that month, which I understand, like you're not going to see them, but the changes are there, and I'm carrying that across now to the new me, which is why I'm here. Yeah, I just lost it. Packed my stuff, I've got 2 bags that are the same. These. They do everything I want. They were cheap, they were brilliant. One for work, one for at home. Reason being is obviously the work one gets dirty and I didn't want to get my clothes dirty all the time, oil and stuff. So I thought I packed the right bag. I didn't. I basically just got in the van and buggered off. No destination, no idea where the bloody hell I was going. And then I spoke to Dimitri. What a man. Feeling the love, brother. He said, come to the Isle of Wight. He said, I'm here. It's away from everything. We can talk. We can work through it. I was like, yeah, that's good. Went to Portsmouth on my own, panicking, in the right state. Chat to Brian. Dimitri, I was going to get the van over there, but it was £200 each way for a ticket, which was just ridiculous. It's only £120 to get to bloody France. Like, that's just ridiculous. So he got me like a passenger ticket, which means I could just walk on. And I remember sitting in the departure part, and I just flooding in. The panic was flooding in. I'm on my own. I'm stuck. I'm trapped. I've got no way out. And every time I go on holiday with Kasia on the plane, I love flying, but the second I get on that plane and I'm on the runway and they shut the door, panic, because I can't get out. I'm trapped. I can't go home. My safe space is gone. And then that would just continue out for the whole holiday. Then I'd be a mess. I'd be panicking. I'd be up and down. And it's just horrible. Absolutely horrible. And it puts you off doing anything. Like you're in like these beautiful countries. You can't communicate. You can't like you're just lost. All you're thinking about is going home. I'm panicking, go home. Don't want to be here anymore. Like, I just want to go home. It just ruins everything. It ruins the experience. It ruins, like, you get a couple of days of goodness, a couple of days of, like, really, really good, and then they're just awful, and it's just ruined the whole experience. Oh God, it just does your head in. It's just like, it's just a constant cycle. It's just, it's mad. It's like, the way to explain it is like, if you're a computer guy, it's like having a hard drive that's failing, or a record that you listen to, or vinyl, and it's got bad sectors, scratches, and you're playing a song, it gets that scratch, and it's like repeat, and that's what's happening in here. And you've got to try and pick up that the platter or the stylus and move it past it. But to physically do that in your own mind is really, really hard, because it's your mind. Your brain is telling you one thing and you just can't get it out. And we're going back to that shadow again. You pick it up, you move it, but you're aware of it. You know it's behind you. You know it's right here. It's just happened. And throughout the rest of the day, it's still there. It's still in the back of your head. You just can't get it out. And it's hard. So I got on the boat. I was panicking really badly. And then got to the pier on the other side. Dimitri wasn't there. More panic. And then he messaged me saying he's on his way, he won't be long, so that made me feel a bit better. And then something just clicked. It was like, you got nothing to go home to, your daughter's not there, she's now in foster care, that's another story. That's another thing that upsets me. You haven't got your car here, okay, but you know, you won't have to worry, you're with Dimitri, you're with someone of sound mind, sound body, all that. So he took me to his house, him and his missus, bless her, hello, thanks guys. And I was a mess. I've taken up smoking again, I've quit for 2 years now, but the stress is just too much. Yeah, so we went for a walk that night till about 4 a.m. down the front, hashing it all out, and explained about what happened with me and her at the start of the relationship, the cheating, not me, but yeah, why it happened from her point of view, how I tried to deal with that, why I couldn't deal with that, why I couldn't move on. Obviously it was with a friend of mine as well, which made it 10 times worse. Not a friend anymore, obviously. He was twisting the knife in, lying, telling her stuff that wasn't happening, wasn't true. Yeah, it was really, really hard. And he just looked at me and says, yeah, you fucked up. Like, you've messed up. Like, the last 2 years, she's been giving you everything. You've messed up. You haven't been giving her anything. You haven't been able to move forward. You haven't been able to move on. And that's what you need to work out. That's what you need to understand. And I was like, yeah, brother, you're right. So we were chatting, we were hashing it out for about 4 days. And I was crying up and down, coming to terms with it, not coming to terms with it. And he was like amazing, absolutely brilliant. He was installing tools in my head for me to be able to cope with, coping mechanisms basically. I've done CBT, didn't really work for me, but he re-initiated, like write it down, make a note, branch off from there, work out things that you can solve, things that you can't solve, anything negative that's in your mind, basically just write it down and like go over it so it's out your head. And then if there's things that you can't calculate, things that you can't account for, things that are out of your hand that you know you've got no control over, you need to accept it. Write down like what the outcomes could be from that issue, and just accept that they're the possible outcomes that they could be. They're the negatives, they're the positives, like that's what could happen. You've got no control over that. Just let it go, just let it be. You're prepared now, you've made it in your mind, you've understood that that's the issue. And as soon as I started doing that, I felt like a weight lifting off my shoulder. And the whole time I was in the Isle of Wight, not once did I panic about being in the Isle of Wight away from home. It's not very far, but for me, like, it's not a 2-second journey to the car and home. It's, you've got to get transport there, you've got to get on the ship. It's a ball ache. So although I was panicking daily, I wasn't panicking about not being able to get home, if that makes sense. And then I got home,
started feeling a bit crap, didn't want to be there, wanted to get away. Obviously, she lives next door, that doesn't make it easy. I'm sure it's not easy for her either. I hope she doesn't mind me talking about this. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's me, that's what's causing this. So yeah, I packed my stuff in the van, got everything ready. Darren and Danny helped. They were amazing. Like, I'd like to say thank you to you guys. Like, again, you were like Dimitri. You were helping. I was talking, offloading. Yeah, amazing guys. And Quaid, sorry, Quaid. I love you guys very much. Just like Dimitri and his missus. Like, you've been absolutely amazing. You've been my rock throughout all this. Your support and continual support is absolutely fantastic. Same as Brian. So I've been spending a lot of time with Brian in the last month, offloading, just talking, taking my mind off it. And I love you, Brian. Thank you very much for being there and, you know, helping me. I know you've got your own issues, your own problems, and I'm trying to help with that as well. Yeah, it's just been amazing, the support from these guys. But fundamentally, it's something that I need to do myself. It's something that I need to fix in here and in here. And I need to try and establish a link between my mind, my soul, my body and my gut, and try to understand where these emotions are coming from, how to, like, accept them, how to stop them from escalating to a point of destruction, like panic attacks. And that's what this journey is about. So I got in the van, I packed everything. I spent 2 days trying to sort out RAC, absolute nightmare. I gave up on the AA, they were a waste of time. I've done my travel insurance, that was easy. I had a rough idea where I wanted to go, like just short-term Calais. I didn't want to go from Portsmouth to, I can't pronounce the name, but basically Caen, because it was a 6-hour ferry ride. And in my head, like, that 6 hours, if I started spazzing out and I started panicking, I got nowhere off that ship. So I did not want to be in there. So for me, my van, transporter, that is like my home. So when I feel bad or don't feel good, I can go back to it. I've made it so that it's my own personal space. So that's like something to help up here. Got on the ferry at Calais. The journey there actually was amazing. 3.5 hours. Oh, I missed a bit out. Sorry. Sorted everything out. Car insurance, made sure that was okay for cover. Checked all the tyres, checked all the engine, did a service. Food, essential supplies really. Brian donated his kettle I could use on the gas to make cups of tea and stuff. Bottled water, just like the essentials really. Money, I haven't got a lot of money, so a couple of people have kindly said that if I get into a point, Simon for example, another big person in my life, so thank you Simon, love you brother. Jay as well, love you too. Like, the support is amazing, daily check-in. Dion, like messaging me, making sure I'm alright. Hello prick with ears. Yeah, so they said if you get into money troubles, we can ping some money over and just don't panic, like, it's okay. I've got a credit card. So the last thing really was the RAC. So if anything catastrophic happened with the van, I'm buggered. 2 days I've been trying to sort that out. Turns out because I've got a trade policy for motor insurance, I can't go under the normal sort of like way of doing it. Then on the day I was meant to be leaving, they had a fire alarm, so they cancelled it. Eventually got through to them on the phone because the website wasn't giving me the options I needed. I got to Clevedon, finalised the policy. It was £205. It included European cover. If I broke down, they would tow me to a garage. If the garage couldn't fix it, they would tow me home from France up to the value of the vehicle. If it cost more than the value of the vehicle, they would just simply give me the money for the van and start again, basically. So that was that. But I got to Clevedon and they said, you need your V5 logbook or we can't tow you home. Without it, we won't do it. So there I am, 2 hours apparently ahead of my schedule getting to Dover. And I had to go home to get the logbook, which took 15 minutes to find. Oh, I missed a bit out actually. So my daughter who's in foster care is in foster care because it was backwards and forwards. We've gone to court twice this year. The judge didn't want to know the first session. I broke down in tears in court. He basically said, well, I've got nothing on my screen. I've got no recollection of your first court case. I was like, wow, this is the court that I came to and you're telling me you don't even have a record of it. Social services didn't give him any paperwork. CAFCAS didn't. The police didn't give him a police report of everything that's happened. So basically he said there's nothing I can do. Like he says, it's just your words at the end of the day. They're meaningless at the moment. I had CAFCAS behind me. I looked at her. I started breaking down. I said, why have you not done your job properly? Why had this not happened? Why has that not happened? So he basically re-adjourned it for like about a month later. By this point, Layla was last year living with me for 6 months solid. Becky basically got into an altercation with Mike, who smashed my car up, keyed it up. He smashed the house up. Layla called the police. Layla had to get out of there, so I had her full time. Layla started pushing the boundaries with me, taking the piss, as you do as a kid. I put rules in place. I grounded her. She didn't care. She got caught stealing at school. She didn't care. I had a go at her. She didn't care. Took her makeup off her. She started crying. I took her laptop off her. She didn't care. I took her phone off her. She didn't care. Gave me attitude, so I gave her a slap round the back of the head like that. Nothing hard. I was then helping the neighbour, Claire, move her car around the corner. The battery had gone dead. And Layla had jumped out the living room window to get away from me when I told her not to come out till the morning. She went back to her mum's, told her that I beat her up and all this rubbish. Her mum started on with her mouth, blah, blah, blah. Then she keyed my car, cost like thousands of pounds worth of damage, couldn't go for insurance. Mike come round to smash my car up again. I caught him red-handed at night, did a citizen's arrest, the police turned up. He admitted to everything. I was on the phone to 999, they recorded it, they heard everything. Goes to court, not admissible in court because he was under the influence of alcohol, so he's intoxicated. Therefore, his actions couldn't be validated in court. I had him under duress, so anything he said whilst he was detained by myself couldn't be admissible in court. Everything he said to the police officer, he said before they read him his Mirandum rights, so therefore that wasn't administered in court. So all the bodywork, which was like couple of grand's worth of damage, he didn't have to pay for. They managed to get 40 quid out of him for a window wiper, which I told him to poke it up their arse. I'm not interested. I'm not going to get that money off of you. I'm done with you. That's it. I'm pissed off. I've had it. So a few months have gone by. Becky's homeless. She's been drinking, taking drugs. Layla's been exposed to this. Layla's been on the streets, sleeping on the streets, in tents. Social services have got in touch. I've had Layla back. That caused an argument with me and my other half because it didn't go the way that whatever, I'm not going to get into that. I had Layla for 2 months, probably the best months I've ever had with her. We were talking, we were laughing, doing things together, which we never really used to do. We were watching films. It really did feel like I had my daughter back. Like, I felt the love. It was amazing. I was in a better place mentally with it all. And then she started taking the piss, and I said to her, like, you're grounded. And then she gave me a valid excuse. Her phone wasn't working. I said, yep, okay, you're not grounded. You're only half an hour late. That's fine. Carry on. And she just kept taking little bits, and I was like, okay, well, this is getting a bit out of control. A couple of weeks gone by. I tried grounding her a few times, but she had good and valid excuses, so I let her off. I probably shouldn't have done, but I did. And then the last time, she didn't come home till 9:45. Couldn't get hold of her. I rang all her mates. I rang what I thought was Jasmine's mum's phone number. It turns out to be Jasmine, Layla's friend, so they lied to me about that, and they used that number for Layla to stay at Jasmine's house overnight, and I thought it was okay because it was her mum, but it wasn't. And I said, why aren't you here? Why's your phone off? She said, my phone's not working, and Jasmine's trying to kill herself. So I didn't believe her because Jasmine was all laughing and joking down the phone. And they said, oh, we got a good excuse, blah, blah, blah. So they come to my house. I didn't go mad, I didn't shout, but I said to Layla, I said, unfortunately, you are grounded. You've taken the mech. You've pushed beyond what is acceptable. The lights are, it's dark outside. You know you're grounded. She got upset, started crying, saying that, what am I supposed to do? Let my friend kill herself. And I said, firstly, I don't believe that actually happened. Second of all, you were told to call me if anything like that happened, because this has so quickly happened before. Thirdly, you could have let me know what was happening, where you were, and that you're safe, but you didn't because you were enjoying yourself. So basically, she's learnt to lie, she's learnt to manipulate, she's learnt to put the waterworks on. Basically, all the traits of her mother. That's what her mum will do. She's always ducking and diving authorities. She's lost her other child to Brandon to Darren from an early start. She's an absolute head case, and Layla's turned, unfortunately, just like her mum. So anyway, I said you're grounded for a couple of days. I'll have your phone. I was going to repair it. I come home from work the next day, 6 o'clock, and she's taken her phone and she's gone. She's left. So she's ungrounded herself. She's taken her stuff. I've tried to find her, phoned everybody. No one knows where she is. I knew she was with a boyfriend at the time. He was denying it. A couple of hours have gone by. I'm absolutely fuming at this point. Basically, he does eventually admit that she's with him, and I said, look, if she doesn't come back home, that's it, she's gone, she's out. She didn't. She said she didn't care. So I put all the stuff in the garden and said, now you will, because we're done. Becky come over, took her stuff. Unbelievable. That was a massive argument, and then she threatened to smash my bikes up this time. Didn't hear nothing from Layla or Becky. I blocked everyone, and I felt a lift out of my mind, because for the first time in a long time I didn't have to deal with all that crap. For 16 years I've been putting up with that, and it was just out, it was done. So I felt better. I stopped panicking, I stopped feeling anxious. Yes, I was sad, yes, I was upset, yes, I was feeling a bit like wobbly, but I felt better in myself for that decision, because it was a cut-off in my mind. And then social services come back in. She's been living on the street, she's been living rough. It's because of this, because of that. We want Layla to come back. And I said, I'd love to have her back, but you know, you didn't work with me before, you didn't support me, it's been a nightmare. And yeah, so it got to the point where they've now said that they've put Layla in foster care because I refuse to have Layla back. The mum is no longer an option because she's unstable, she's drinking, she's taking drugs. They gave her temporary accommodation, and the guy looking after the temporary accommodation said that Layla has been on her own for over a week, hasn't seen Becky once. So they took the temporary accommodation off of her, put Layla into foster care. It turns out Layla's been going to Bristol on her own on a bus, which I think is unacceptable at 14. She's been doing it since she was 13. I wasn't aware. I had an argument with the social services in front of the foster care people saying it's unacceptable. The woman was older than I am. No, you need to let her do it. Bristol's safe, Bristol's this, Bristol that. I said, you are a fucking deluded twat. I said, you haven't got a clue the ugliness of life. I said, you're here reading from a script. You haven't got a clue like how ugly it is. She could get mugged, stabbed, raped, anything could happen. I'm not allowing it. Anyway, it didn't end well, but the rest of the meeting did.
2 days later, I get a text message from Sue, which is the foster carer, saying Layla's not home. Well, funny enough, I just spoke to Layla half an hour before. She sounded sheepish on the phone. I thought maybe she's just with a friend, she's embarrassed. Nope, she's in Bristol. Gets home, I bollocked her on the text messages. She's gone back to Sue. Sue's understandably upset and said to Layla, it's not acceptable. You're only supposed to be here for a week, but you've been here for a month. I only do temporary foster care, don't normally do girls. Before, obviously this has happened in the day before France. So I've met Sue and Layla, and I've just gone mad. And Layla's given me lip, being aggressive, attitude. I've had a go at her. I've explained what's what. I said I love her very much, but the way you're going, you're going to be moved across county now, away from everything and away from everyone, and her attitude stinks. I don't care. That's what's going to happen anyway, and all this. And she said to Sue, I don't care what rules you put in place, I'm moving back in with Dad anyway. And I said, no, you're not anymore, because of what you're doing. So that was really tough. She was crying, I was crying. I was trying to explain to her that your life choices are really important at the moment. You need to go to school. Me and your mother failed you as parents, and that's on us. I can't communicate with your mum just like you can't. You hate your mum, you don't want to see her. Imagine what I've had to put up with for 16 years, like more actually. And Becky told Layla that I didn't want her and that I wanted an abortion and wanted to get rid of her, and I said that's not true. I said what happened was your mum was pregnant, I didn't know about it. I tried leaving your mother. The first time I tried leaving your mother, which was a year into the relationship, she tried killing herself and tried stabbing me with knives. A 13-year-old son seen it all. We were shouting and screaming at each other. She locked the door, put the key down her top. I ended up trying to escape out of a window. She grabbed me from the window, threw me to the floor. That's when she went to the kitchen, got knives and threatened to kill herself if I left and all the rest of it in front of her son. She lunged at me with the knife. I detained her, pinned her to the floor, put my knee in her back, took the knife off her. That's when the riot police burst through the door. You can imagine what they thought when they saw a 6-foot lad on top of a woman. They took witness statement from me. Becky was drunk. Thankfully, Leon, her 13-year-old son, explained to them what had happened, and their whole attitude would be changed then. It was brilliant. They were really supportive. They were really good. They said, look, we're sorry, but you've got to understand, we burst through the door. We could see a weapon. We could see you detaining someone. We understand now why you were detaining that person. We could see there's loads of knives in the living room where you kept taking them off of her, and Leon kept putting them in there. So that stability's been there for 17 years. This is why my head's all over the place. Layla's been exposed to that. God only knows what else she's seen. It's really, really heart-destroying. It really is. And yeah, this happened before I left France. I said, I'm going, I've got to go. I'm a mess, I'm anxious, I'm up and down, I'm all over the place. I need to sort my head out. And then I had all that problem with the RAC. And for the first time in 41 years, I was driving down the motorway and I was happy. I felt clear, I didn't feel pressure, I didn't feel anxious anymore. I was singing, I was dancing, people were laughing at me because I was like dancing in the van, like, hey! And it was a good feeling. Really good. The departure was at 7 o'clock. I arrived 2 hours before. I followed the sat nav into the dock, couldn't turn around. I was like, shit, I'm now stuck. Got through the checkout, they checked the van over, and they said, because you're 4 hours early, you can actually get on this ferry instead. I was like, oh wow, okay, I hadn't prepared for that, that's brilliant. Got on the ferry, felt anxious for a few moments. That passed, I felt okay. Went for a cigarette. And yeah, there's a very attractive lady come up to me, brunette, probably the same age as me. I asked about a Rizla, and I was like, well, I'm pretty sure I've just seen her smoking like over there. Started chatting me up, we were chatting, and about quarter of the way through the conversation, I was like, nah, I'm not interested, I'm not into this, I don't want to be on my own, I'm not interested in other people at the minute, I just need to like clear my head, sort myself out, move on. So I turned around and said to her, I said, what is it you do for a living then? Oh, I'm going to Calais, I help with the immigration of the illegals, and I just looked at her and said, oh, so you're part of the problem then, you're the reason why our country's going down the Swanee because of you. And her face was like, and then she just walked away, and I was like, I started laughing. And then it clicked. Christine, down the farm, half a pint of Coke, walked out on the conversation because you're like, do you know what, this ain't for me. That's me. That's me now. I was like, wow, I've got to that level. And I sat there, I had a fag, I was chuckling away to myself, and I think the poor woman was a bit embarrassed. She started rolling another fag, pulled out a Rizla paper, and I was like, I bloody knew it. I'm not the best looking guy in the world, but obviously she took an interest, and I blew it, but I blew it on purpose, I'm not interested. Got to Calais, and I know people like Darren and Danny said don't hang around the docks, it could be a bit dodgy. So I went to Bray Dune, which was the start of my adventure. I did a little tribute to Dimitri. We did a skinny dipping in the Isle of Wight on the last night, and I continued that tradition since. I went into the sea, skinny dipped with my clothes on. You can see that video of me doing that, and a few others. And then I went to Calais, explored Calais, walked around. That was hard that night in Calais. I'd done too much. I had a panic attack in the morning, about 4 in the morning. I was a right mess. Pulled myself out of it, went for a walk and just got on with it. Done 13.5 miles, so I was physically and mentally exhausted. I think that didn't help. Hadn't taken my meds for 4 days. I'm now back on my meds, 10 milligrams instead of 20. I seem to have leveled out now. I'm not panicking, I feel okay, I'm eating properly. And then I moved on to Dunkirk, which is the last videos that you can see, and breathtaking. The first day I woke up, I cried. I went to Memorial Stadium, cried, really emotional, really feeling it. But yesterday I felt fantastic. I walked around, I did a Dimitri, I sat down, I wrote a list, I wrote some postcards.
I wrote a list of what I need to do, what I want to see, where I want to go, where I want to be, how I want to be, and that's the journey so far. I am struggling with depression, I am struggling with anxiety, I understand that now, I understand what causes the triggers, I'm accepting them, I'm writing them down, I'm exploring them. It's hard, I'm still in love with someone that doesn't love me anymore, and I'm learning to let go of that, I'm learning to move on, trying to prepare for the eventuality that that person's going to move on with someone that's going to hurt. So yeah, it's really tough. So if you're watching this and you're going through similar things, you've gone through like the sort of mindset that I'm in, the motions that I'm in, keep watching, keep listening. Hope this has inspired you. I've had a few people on Facebook that said they're inspired, and I've talked to them about anxiety and depression. I'm helping them with that. I hope I'm helping them with that. These videos are kind of like a log to myself. They're a log to the people that are watching, so they know I'm okay. My parents, I love you very much. Don't worry about me, I'm okay. I know I rang you the other day and Mum was panicking, thinking I'd ring in because something was wrong. It's not, I'm fine, I'm okay. Don't worry about me. I've got a lot of support. A lot of people on Facebook. I love you all. Again, Isabella, Ivy, oh no, Joe, you're gonna kill me. Ivy, Isabella, Reggie, and Regan. I love you all. Thank you for your support, and I know you're doing a care package for me. I'm looking forward to that. Love you all, and the support is amazing. It really is, and this journey is helping me find myself. It's helping me understand myself a bit better, and it's enabling me to conquer my anxieties once and for all, conquering my depression, conquering it, and just look at it. It's absolutely breathtaking. Throwing myself into the military stuff. I've loved military stuff. I love the walks, but what I'm finding is when I'm on my own and I'm walking and I'm on my downtime, that's when the intrusive thoughts come. That's when all the stuff comes in, the paranoia, the anxiety, the depression. So what I then do is I go for a swim. The shock of the seawater brings you out of it, and then I go move on to the next place, look at another place of point of interest, keep my mind busy, take photos, make a log, and then every time I start getting anxious, take 5, go out, get something to eat, and just keep repeat, keep yourself busy. I'm learning to live now, I'm learning to enjoy my life. These moments that will define me for a lifetime, I hope. And I know I've got all that crap to go back to when I get home. I know I've got Layla to sort out. I've got to move on with like the past relationship. I know that I've got work to do. I've got responsibilities. I know that. But this is helping me manage those things in a more manageable way. It's now I feel like my mind isn't racing 1,000 miles an hour. I'm singing, I'm clear. My head for the first time, and there's no noise. I can't explain it. There's no noise. For the first time in 2 years, definitely, there is no noise, and it's because I am digesting it slowly in a calm manner. I've taken time out. I'm keeping my mind active in a healthy way. I'm physically burning off energy, so I'm physically getting rid of that anxiety. I'm not on a calorie massive deficit. I'm looking around about 1,000 calories a day, 1,200 calories. I'm burning that off. When I feel my body getting tired, my mind getting tired, I'll stop, I'll rest, I'll take it easy. And it's looking after myself, looking after my mind, looking after my body, understanding the warning signs, things I haven't been able to piece together myself. And that's thanks to Dimitri, that's thanks to my previous training, that's thanks to the cognitive behavioural therapy sessions I've had, the counselling. My friends have been amazing, they put up with this crap. Dan Sparks, you were there for like 20 odd years of my life, brother. It's a one-time show, baby. I love you guys. I know I've been a bit of an arse for 2 years. I've blanked you out. I've blanked a lot of people out, people that are close to me, partners, Layla, parents, and I'm trying to claw that back. I know I've only spoke to you briefly the other day, and it's like it was a lot. I'm going to try and touch base with you a bit more, just like nothing heavy, just to try and like break the ice a bit. I'd love to come and see you guys soon. I know you're getting married. I want to be a bridesmaid. Yes, a bridesmaid. Yeah, I'm getting a lot off my chest. I'm coming out of myself. I'm going back to the crazy Sheldon that used to be 20 years ago, but a responsible crazy Sheldon. I'm not doing the drugs. I'm trying to cut down the swearing. I'm trying to be a bit more proactive. I'm trying to be a bit more at peace, and I am at peace. I think I'm at peace with myself, and I haven't had that for a very long time. So I'm building myself back. I'm getting over the issues I've had in my life, and I'm slowly but surely getting there. And thank you all for watching.
The journey hasn't ended. I'm still going. The rest of my life will be a journey. If you feel anxious, you feel this, some of the stuff I'm saying, if that's hit home, message me. I might not get back to you straight away, but I'll try and message you. If you want a shout out, I'll give you a shout out. I'm making a YouTube channel so that everyone can see it. Yeah, it's just, anxiety is a bitch. So is depression. Life is hard. It really, really is hard. But don't do what I did. Don't lose sight of your loved ones. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be scared of giving someone a hug. Don't be scared of letting those defenses down, letting that wall down. Feel that connection, feel that touch. If you're with someone and you love them and you're in a relationship, don't do what I did. Don't shut them out. Don't stop loving them physically, mentally. Talk to them. Give them a kiss. Give them a hug. Cherish every moment you got with that person, because you don't know when it's going to be your last. You're not here for a long time, and you lose sight of that. I've lost sight of that. My head has lost sight of that. My heart has lost sight of that. I'm not connected as a person. Now I am connected. I can feel my heart. I can feel my gut instincts. I can feel my mind, and I'm connecting the dots. I'm connecting it, and for the first time I can breathe. That's it for now. I'm hungry. I'm going to go get some food. I've delayed myself about an hour now. Love you all. Thanks for watching. Sheldon out.